Hello, my name is Whitney and I am from Thrifty Whitney on Instagram, and I own Thrifty Whitney, an online vintage shop. And you are joining today for Instagram 101, our third episode for Shop Talk. So as soon as Nicole, my co-host, gets on here, we're going to have her come on and get started. And thank you so much everyone for being here. If you can't stay for the whole thing, we will have the replay. You can find that link in my bio links. So I'm really excited you guys are here, and this will go for about an hour. And here's Nicole. Hello.
Hi.
All right. You don't see me?
No, your screen is black. I don't know if it's just for me.
Hey, try getting out and coming back in. This happened on a live on Saturday, and Dana just had to exit the live and come back in.
Okay.
And that fixed it. Oh, fingers crossed. So, and I'll just keep going over some housekeeping things while we're waiting for Nicole to reset her screen. So if you're new to Shop Talk, this is an Instagram live stream series that Nicole and I started, and we really wanted to empower and equip and to educate online vintage sellers. And we just have talked in the past about how to get started selling vintage online. We talked about, what was episode 2 about, Nicole?
Now I see you.
Okay. Great.
What's going on?
Awesome. Yay. Episode 2. What was episode 2 about? Oh my gosh.
I have it written down right here. Finding and managing inventory.
That's right, inventory. So you can watch all those replays on YouTube and on our Instagram profiles. We each have a guide set up. And if you go to guide, which is on, if you look feed, posts, reels, guide, each of us have a guide set up for Shop Talk, and you can find everything posted there. And like I said, also on YouTube. We also ask you guys, if you don't mind, please tapping up here and following both of our accounts. I promise you won't regret it. And that way, if you guys send us messages with questions about Shop Talk or questions about selling, we can make sure to see them a little bit more easily if you're following both of us. And that way you can also see updates for future Shop Talk episodes. And then last but not least, I wanted to point out this really awesome feature. Okay, Nicole, can you point at the question inside? Oh, is it there? Okay.
For me,
that's funny.
It's here.
Okay, great. If you guys see the question mark that's inside the little like speech bubble, that is actually a really cool feature on Instagram where you can tap that and type out questions for us, and I will see them. And you might find that we get it answered throughout this next hour. And we're also going to be typing it into a doc that Nicole and I can both see. And then at the end, as much time as we have, we'll try to cover some of the most frequently asked questions. So okay, I think we're ready to get rolling. So just as a refresher, guys, today we're talking about Instagram 101, how to set up an Instagram account and help it grow. We are not going to be talking specifically about selling on Instagram because that is its own separate topic that we're going to go into in a later episode. But really, we're talking about what you need to know to have a really healthy Instagram account. And these are ideas that you can use on any account. Maybe you aren't a vintage seller, but you have another small business or a different Instagram account that you run. And I hope that you will be able to really apply these principles for no matter what you're selling online or promoting online. So there's something that's like incredibly vital and important that if you take nothing else away today, please do this. Set up two-factor authentication so that your account cannot get hacked. Nicole, have you done this?
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as they offered it, I was like, okay, click.
Click. Okay. So we've all seen those shop accounts, right? They'll have like thousands of followers, lots of business coming in and out, and their account gets hacked and they have to start over from zero. And there is a very easy way to keep this from happening. I'm not going to go into like the details of how to do this because you can look it up on Instagram's help tutorial. If you just type in on Google how to set up two-factor authentication for Instagram, what that does is normally when you log into Instagram, let's say you get a new phone and you're trying to get Instagram started, you put your password in, and then that's all you need to log into Instagram. The problem with that is if anyone has hacked into passwords and has your password for Instagram, they can get on any phone, any computer, anywhere in the world. And that is how people are getting hacked into. What two-factor authentication does is basically you enter your phone number. So what Instagram is going to do is say, this is a new browser, new cell phone, etc. We're going to text a security code to your phone number, and you have to put that in before you can log in on a new browser. You don't have to do this every time. It's just when you're using the first time a new system. So this is just do that after we finish the live so that your account is secure. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is what type of Instagram account do we need to have for Instagram, right? We're starting very 101 basics. And there are basically 3 different kinds of Instagram accounts that you have. You can choose personal, and you can choose creator, or you can choose a business account. So Nicole, what kind of account do you have?
At first I think I had personal, and then I switched over to business just because I had more options as far as like how the page was set up and like DM structure and like things like that. So I think business account is really helpful. I also think you could probably do creator too, but I think Whitney and I were chatting about this before, and we were just saying like, I think if you do creator or business, you're good. Like I don't think you necessarily need to have a business account, but creator or business will be better than the personal account.
And I definitely recommend, let's say you've had a personal account with photos of your dog or your kids or garden or whatever, and you decide to start selling vintage. I recommend starting a separate account or deleting all the personal photos from that account if you are switching, so that your customers are not confused, or potential customers are not confused when you hop on there. And it was perfect timing, because one of the accounts that I follow for Instagram growth, that we'll put all these in the show notes, but her name is Eve Longfield, and she actually just put out a reel today or yesterday that talked about creator versus business accounts. And basically, creator has fewer contact info options, and they have fewer call to action buttons, like shopping. Links are available for everyone. You do get a daily follow unfollow number. You can give businesses permission to promote your content, and you can access something called the Instagram Creator Studio. That's just for creator accounts. I haven't used that, so I'm not sure what all that includes, but it's a resource. And you have better access to the music catalog for Reels. Business has the big benefits for business if you are expanding beyond Instagram to sell things. So you have more contact information. So if you have a storefront, you can put your address in there. You can put your phone number in there. You can integrate third-party apps if you need to use those for business. And also you can use an Instagram shop, which is something that we'll talk about a little bit later. But you could only have an Instagram shop to sell things directly through Instagram if you have a business account. Now, someone did ask about how you set up a multi-person account. I've had some friends that they were like selling online, basically with a business partner, and they were asking what the best way to do that is. And it really is just to share basically you just share the login information. You both need to have the two-factor. The only thing with the two-factor authentication is you kind of have to like decide whose phone number gets on there. And then just make sure that you plan ahead on how you manage DMs, content, who posts when, etc., who replies to DMs. I think planning ahead is really key to a smooth working relationship. So, all right. So one of the things that we really wanted to highlight is to remember because now we're going to get into the types of content that you create on Instagram, is that your content is for your customers, not for you. So when we are getting ready to post a story, a post, a reel, post anything, we have to stop and think, how is this serving our customers? Is this something that will make them laugh? It will make them feel seen and understood? Will it answer a problem or fix a problem for them? Will it let them know how they can buy, give them an opportunity to actually purchase from us? How is this content going to serve my customer? Because so often we do get caught up, and I've been there also, of just creating content that makes me, let's be honest, makes me feel good about myself. It looks really good on the feed. It maybe is celebrating a win, which is not a bad thing at all. It's really great to share our wins with people. But you also think about, like, what are my customers getting out of the content that I'm making? Do you have any, yeah.
No, I think that's really, it's a really good point to bring up. So like, I think it definitely is important to share a little bit of like daily life if you want to every once in a while, or like just to get like your customers familiar with who you are. So before I did any live sales, I didn't really go on stories very often. I didn't really show my face, but I feel like that wasn't a good business strategy for me. So I think like getting people to know who you are, maybe like some of your likes, dislikes, a little bit into your life is important, but don't like inundate people with everything personal either. Like I feel like it's a little bit of a balance. And then like Whitney said, you want to make sure that everything, not everything, but most things that you're posting either speak to your customers, benefit your customers. Like they need to be able to get something out of the relationship too, I feel like, other than just purchasing. So it's good to have like open communication. You might want to do like updates like, hey everybody, like right now I'm working on packing open boxes from October. I have a few left over, but it's good to like keep people informed if they're not like, oh, she forgot all about me and I ordered something 2 weeks ago. So like I think they're little things that you should be, I guess, posting to like, and then also like interacting a little bit with people instead of just like stagnant, I think.
Like nurturing your relationship with your customers. And I think that is really important. So, okay, and usually the first time, let's think about like the customer journey, right? Let's say someone taps over to your profile. Someone taps over to your profile and it's the first time they've ever come across your account. Maybe someone shared something, a reel popped up in the explore page, whatever, and they top over and they're going to see your profile. And the main thing when people are looking at your profile on Instagram is you want to give them a reason to tap that follow button and make it very clear why someone should follow you. And obviously one of the first things people usually see is a profile photo. And I recommend, which is fun because Nicole and I both do this a little differently, recommend having a logo or a personal photo. So Nicole, you have your profile photo as your logo, right?
Yeah. But now that a lot more people are putting their faces on there, I'm thinking like maybe I should update it. But I had my logo on there since I started my page. Well, it changed, but like more like my image was always my logo. But like Whitney said, it is important, I think, to either have your logo or your photo. Like I wouldn't put like a picture of flowers or like your dog or like something like that. It's easier, I think, for people to remember your account, or like if they see your highlight, like your story bubble up there, like the logo helps because if they don't know what you look like yet, or if you don't really share your face much on here, I think the logo would be good for you. But if you're like engaging on, if you like you do live sales or if you do a lot of story shares, like where you talk to your audience, then I think like you could put your picture on there because then they know who you are.
And I think the consistency, like if you're changing your profile photo every month, people have a hard time tracking like who it is that's talking. One of my pet peeves is when people do handle or like shop name changes, and they'll post this big thing on, like they've changed their profile photo, they changed the logo, and they're like, I've changed my name. But they don't tell me what their old name was. And so I'm like, I literally have I've seen this more than once. I literally have no idea who you are. You're telling me that you changed. I don't know who you were before. it's very disincentivizing to like keep
That's true.
because I'm like,
Or
oh
like
my
some people have changed their names and I haven't, like, I didn't know they changed it either. So it's like the same
yeah,
thing. I'm like, who are you?
who
So
I
then like you want people to like at least recognize your page, like if you're like your
yes,
feed. Otherwise they might unfollow you because they don't know who you are.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think like you kind of have to just be careful with that too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the next thing in the bio is you can include your name, your actual handle. So thinking about how to maximize that because the name in your profile is what is going to show up in DMs or different things. So some people will put like their first name and all these like cutesy emojicons. Also, by the way, if we say anything and you're like, that's me, do not take it personally because I literally don't remember the names of people who do these things. Like I don't remember it. So don't think I'm like passive aggressively calling you out. I'm
No,
not.
not at
So
all.
just this is just like we're mentioning these things because it has happened many, many times. Just had to say that. They'll put a lot of like cutesy emojicons, but then their shop name is completely something different. I'm like, I don't know who you are. So just think about like this name of my account is going to show up in a lot of different places. How can I make sure people know like vintage shop, your name, not the handle like thrifty_Whitney, but the actual Instagram profile name is searchable. And so how am I going to show up in search engines? Because Instagram is a search engine. People use it all the time to search for things. How can I make my account discoverable? So the other thing too is you really want to maximize that 140 character limit in your paragraph. So one of the other Instagram coaches I follow, she's always like, she says, we will always choose clear over cute. So you might, so thinking about, I know there are sometimes profiles that are cutesy and use lots of hashtags and different things, but you want to make it extremely clear to people why they should follow you and what exactly you're all about. So, and I think we've talked before about like it's helpful to have your location in your bio so that people know where you're shipping from and if they can do pickups. What do you have
That's
in your
like
bio?
huge pet peeve of mine. When I go to somebody's page, I don't know their name because it's not like in their bio and they don't have like an about me and it's not in any of their posts. Like some people do like, have a great day, XO Nicole. Okay, well, so I'm like, then I feel like a stalker that I'm like going through all your posts just to find out what your name is. I don't like if there's something that I'm interested in purchasing, but I don't know where you're located. Like I'm in New Jersey, so if you're in California and this item weighs like 10 pounds, like I don't know if I would necessarily want to order it because shipping is going to be expensive. So I think like it's just really beneficial to have kind of just the basics in your bio. So like your first name doesn't have to be your first and your last name, but your first name is great. And then even like what state you're in. It doesn't have to be like the town and the state, but I think especially like if you don't put your location in your posts. So I always put Boot in New Jersey in all of my posts, which we'll maybe get into this later, but that's like beneficial for engagement. I always put that in there just in case you don't see Boot in New Jersey in my bio. You'll see it on my post, like if it comes up in your feed. And then we were talking about like other things that we could put in our bio. I always include my upcoming sale, so the next sale will always be in there. And then if you have any like important announcements that you want to put, the only thing is you're limited to the amount of space that you have in there. So you have to be a little creative because I always run out of room. And I'm like, I want to put more. But like short and sweet and to the point is good.
Someone, I think this is a really good question, said, what if my Instagram name is slightly different than what's on Etsy? I think it's really important if you are on multiple platforms to keep your name as close to the same as you can. So I'm thrifty_Whitney because someone took Thrifty Whitney on Instagram and I can't use it. So, but I'm thrifty_Whitney on Instagram. Etsy, someone also already had Thrifty Whitney. So I did Thrifty Whitney shop. Not the most like clear thing, but then it's obvious that I'm selling stuff. So that is kind of Thrifty Whitney shop. And I have the same profile photo across Facebook, Etsy, Instagram, everything. So that when people see me, holding that quilt in that orange dress, they immediately recognize what I am. So I think that brand consistency is really important. So bio, the links, having a link in your profile is really great. There's a lot of different, like you can do link tree. I think Instagram now offers multiple link options in your profile. I would just try to minimize links as much as possible, because what you don't want to do is have a link tree that has 10 different links to it. Even mine, I think I have 4 or 5 on mine, and I need to take some out because it's too many, because people get on there and they get like decision overwhelmed really easily. So you want to make it really clear what should their next step be in like the customer journey of how you're kind of bringing them and nurturing in sales. So the next thing when you're looking at a profile that is below the bio is the story highlights. Now, I'll admit I'm not the best about keeping these updated, but I feel like you do really good at this, Nicole.
I'm like super anal about everything. So like even I think it was last week, I was like updating my available highlight because like sometimes you just forget. But so for story highlights, I utilize them for I have a few story highlights on there. Like I feel like if you have to keep scrolling through, it's overwhelming. And that's more for like creator accounts, I feel like if they're doing like Amazon hauls or different like I don't know, Black Friday sale, like things like that's good for like creators, but I feel like for a shop account, you don't want to overwhelm. You should have all of your highlights, whatever fits on the page. You shouldn't have to like scroll. So I think like an important highlight to have unless you have it as a post, your shop policies. So someone's new, they're not really sure how to claim items from your page, you can have it all outlined there. I have how to claim, my shipping, like timing and how I ship, where I'm shipping from. I have my open box policy in there. I think I have a few other slides, but it's just like an overview, and you don't want it to be like paragraphs. I think like little bullet points, just to like give somebody like a little introduction to your page and like how they could shop from you. So that's a really good idea to have as your story highlight, unless like I said you have it as a feed, like as a square post, but then you should pin that to your profile so it's like really easy for someone to know, like find out how to shop from you. I have an available highlight, so items, I don't want to say like leftovers, but like basically, so like items that had not been claimed from any of my Squares sales, or like if you do story sales, I share those posts to my stories, and once they're a story, you can share it, you could save it to a highlight. So I have my available items there. And you can do like an about me if you want, just to like give someone a quick like introduction, unless you have like a post about that. But I would like kind of limit it. I wouldn't go crazy with the amount of story highlights you have there.
I have nothing to add because I don't update mine at all. So
like I think I have a meetup.
That's great. Yeah.
So like all of my friends, like my virtual friends that I have met over the past year or so, I have like those there because they make me happy, and I can have it all in one spot.
Yeah. And then I think I utilize pinned posts a little bit like you use some of your story highlights. So moving down, from your story highlights, we're going to talk about feed posts first. And there's a lot to cover here. So when I first started my Instagram account, I took a ton of photos and worked as quickly as possible to fill up that top 9 grid, right? Because when someone first opens your Instagram feed on their phone, they see 9 photos at the top. And so someone was asking, like, how do I get started? And I was like, you just take a whole bunch of pictures and you get them up there. And I took pictures of vintage things around the house and stories of where I found it or the family member that made it for me, etc. And just started filling that in. That really gives someone a chance to see your aesthetic, the kinds of things you love, even before you're selling things, kind of showing this is what you can expect from my page. And I also have pinned posts, which is really easy to do. So how I use my logo is that my profile photo is a photo of me, and then I pinned my logo in the corner as one of my top posts, so that when people pop onto my page, maybe they've only seen my logo, you know, on my little postcards here. Then when they see the logo, they immediately make the connection that, oh, this is Thrifty Whitney. And then the other pinned post that I have is my sales calendar for the month. Oh, it's November. Yeah, that's not going to get out for a while.
I know, I posted mine this morning. I was like, oh, I was supposed to do that 2 days ago.
Okay. Anyway, that's okay. I don't have anything for like another week. So, but I keep my sales calendar up there so that my customers can quickly reference when my next live sale or whatever, shop closure or whatever I want to put on that calendar is there. And trying to see, yeah, I think that's it for the pinned. Please post replay. Yes, don't worry, the replay will be on our Instagram feed and on YouTube, so we'll get all the links posted up really soon. So, okay, now we get to dive into the fun part of like content ideas. What exactly, besides, and again, guys, we're separating out the selling bit. That's going to be a separate episode in itself. So besides actual sales posts, what kind of content do you enjoy creating for your feed on Instagram?
So we were, other than like sale posts, it's good like if you have like a nice little haul, like you went to an antique store and you're really excited with all of the items that you have, you can do like a loot sheet photo or like a reel of your recent finds. You can do like items that you style in your home, or like things that like say I would always have in stock on my page, like how I personally style those items in my home. You could share like vignettes of that. What else? Like tips or tricks. Sorry if you can hear that. They're paving my road right now, like right now. And it's so loud and everything is shaking behind me. So if I like get startled every once in a while, it's because everything is shaking. Sorry about that. Just wanted to mention it in case you heard like the rumbling. So like, what was I saying? Sale posts, haul photos, previews for sales that are coming up.
Mm-hmm. So marketing I think is a big thing.
Like you could do like ads. So if you want to do like an advertisement of a sale or like a vignette of items that will be coming up in the sale, I think that's beneficial.
Mm-hmm. I also think like tips or tricks or content that will attract new followers and get saved or shared is really, really good for attracting new customers. You know, we're going to talk a bit more about growth strategies. I mean, it's all kind of mixed together, but thinking that's really a good idea for any content that you're creating. Like, okay, is someone going to, what is the action that I want a customer to take on this post? Do I want them to set a sale reminder, like tap reminder? Hey, I always put little like tap reminder to get a nudge from Instagram when my sale goes live. If you love these items, like save this post for later so that you can use this tip on cleaning brass when you buy your own. Share this with a friend who will totally laugh at this with you because you know you feel understood. So every piece of content that you create, the last thing you want to do is have someone sitting scrolling on their phone thinking, oh, that's a pretty photo, and then just keep scrolling on by. Because, sorry, 2023 Instagram, pretty photos are not enough. They're not. So we really have to nudge our customers. If we want content that will attract new clients, help our customers grow, and help generate sales, you have to give your clients a nudge. What exactly do you want them to do? And it may be like, this is my thrifty find of the day. Tell me about what thrifty find did you find this week? Leave a comment below. You're always wanting to encourage engagement, because the more engagement and attention, hitting like is not enough. That's not enough. You want your customers to engage with your content, share it, save it, leave comments, meaningful comments, more than just like cool exclamation point.
Yeah.
That is what is going to help get your content out in front of fresh eyes. So when you're writing, we already kind of talked about this with captions. You know, you're inviting engagement, you're asking followers to do something. We're going to talk a little bit about hashtags later, but just, you know, on a note, that Instagram now recommends hashtags, like 5 to 8 hashtags per post. Ones that are not oversaturated. I'm sorry, if you use hashtag vintage, you're just like, you might as well not put anything there because there's millions of posts under vintage, hashtag vintage. It's sort of like a filing cabinet. It helps the algorithm figure out what your content's about and who wants to see it. But if there's a bajillion people looking at vintage, hashtag vintage, you're just not going to get seen. So the more that you can narrow it down and help Instagram know, like, vintage farmhouse style, because vintage could mean anything from like 1950s kitsch to, you know, 1970s mid-mod to like, it's so broad and so vague. So try to make it specific. We'll have to really go into that.
And then in order to, like, if you don't know which hashtags to use, like if you go into the search bar, you could put some like words in there. So like vintage decor. If you type that in and you go under, I think it's tags, I can't remember, but there's like a couple options at the top. If you click on that, it'll tell you there's like, I don't know, 10 million people use that hashtag. You don't want to use that one. Try to stick, like, I would say at least under 10,000, if not like under 5,000, because then you're more likely to be seen if somebody is looking for that hashtag specifically, or if someone follows that hashtag, then you'll show up in their feed.
I think it's nice to have a mix, like kind of like small, medium, large hashtags where you have the 100,000, 50,000, the 5,000. Like, not many people are looking at that, but it can be a really great way to niche down. And then you have someone who was a new client came on and bought an oil painting from me because I used the hashtag, because I asked him, I was like, how did you find me? You've never bought from me and you just bought this like pretty expensive oil painting. And he's like, oh, you just popped up under vintage portrait, hashtag vintage portrait.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so hashtags really do work. Okay, what kind of posts? So when you're talking about posts, we're talking about still photos. And I really recommend doing a carousel. So a carousel is simply multiple photos in one post. And if you don't know how to do that, again, look it up on Instagram. There's a little like thing you tap and then you can select multiple photos. And the really easy way is, if you're taking a picture of something, just take it from different perspectives. Do close up, do far away, do this side, do that side, do up above, boom. You've got 5 photos. That means people spend more time looking at the post. Longer view time equals higher engagement. Instagram knows people like it. So trying to do that is really, really helpful. Especially, you know, once you get to selling things, you want to have as many photos as possible.
And the carousels, I've actually seen it. So I don't know if, like, when you're scrolling, if you scroll in the morning and then if you scroll in the afternoon, like, I'll see maybe Whitney's first image that she put on her post in the morning. And then if I'm like going through a little bit later in the day, I'll see her like second photo. So you're more likely to show up in people's like scrolls multiple times if you use multiple photos in your post. Which
if you don't engage with
I didn't know that was like a thing. They'll show like the next photos in your sequence.
If you don't engage with it the first time, Instagram's like, are you sure you don't like this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Sometimes I'm like, no, Instagram, I don't like it. Stop putting this in my face. That's usually a sign I need to unfollow someone. I rarely think that. It's usually on my personal page where I follow a lot of like political and comedy type things. Anyway.
That's funny.
Okay, now we get to talk about Reels. I love Reels.
You do. I don't know.
Okay, guys. Interesting fact. Okay, because we talk a lot about the algorithm. There are different algorithms for feed posts, static posts, still photos. Reels is a completely different algorithm. Reels is a long-term game. So the worst thing you can do is post a reel and then 2 hours later think, I only have 200 views. It's a fail, because it takes Instagram longer to figure out who likes your reels and who they should show the reels to. So I have had, and I'm not someone that I don't get like 10K views on every single reel, but I have been able to leverage a couple of different reels using, we'll talk about like basic strategy of making good reels, but I kind of leveraged these. I mean, I use these every time I make a reel, or I try to, and then sometimes it just catches on because it's just the right chemistry. And so I've had several reels where I've had, I think one might actually be, I have two that are at or over 100K views, and I've gotten over 1,000 follows each just from those posts. And that has taken months. Like that, the reel that I did, that the more recent one that I think just tipped over into 100K, I think I posted over a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and Instagram just keeps showing it. Okay, Crazed Olive, we're gonna try to figure out, maybe what we can do is I'll tell you the strategy, and then you can like go back and look at that reel and figure out, okay, what was the chemistry combination. And also, guys, one time I used these strategies and my reel got like 300 views, and it's been a week, and I just laughed, because you just have to laugh. Like, okay, I'm not gonna be mad. It's silly to get mad over a video, you know, but you just have to laugh. Like, okay, I think it was a timing thing. I posted it late on a Friday, and I just don't have great traction on that. So a couple things on reels is that make them really high value. Make people want, just like we've said before, save it, share it, watch it again. Think of it. Is someone going to want to save this, save it, share it, shave it, save it, share it, watch it again? If there's none of those on there, then people are probably not going to engage with it. And Instagram thinks, oh, people don't really want to see this, we're not going to push it out. So that can also be a hook. There's lots and lots of Instagram accounts there to use a hook. You only have 2 to 3 seconds to really grab someone's attention and make them want to keep watching. And yes, some reels work better with quick flashes. It just depends on how you put things together. So the other thing is trending audio. We're going to share, and we may not get to sharing these names in today's session, but we'll put them in our show notes, and the full show notes go on the YouTube channel where we have more room to put it all down. But there are accounts that share multiple trending audios every week, and they are awesome because they save us so much time. And these typically, the magic number is a reel that has, an audio that has less than 5,000 uses, maybe less than 10,000. Less than 5K is better. And the original post using that audio has over 1 million views. That is an early trending audio. And if you're able to create a very high value reel using that audio, that chemistry is going to push your reel out into the algorithm. Keeping them short and sweet can, like about 7 to 10 seconds, can be awesome. I've had reels do really well. I also had a reel that was 1 minute long that basically was talking about a dead squirrel that I found at a garage sale that has over 50,000 views. So
I remember that one.
So that's another thing, is think about, like, what am I putting in my stories that could actually be a reel? Because that is a video I recorded for my stories, and then I was like, let's just make a reel out of it. And I got a lot of comments about people who were mad I didn't take the squirrel to a vet. If that was you, I apologize. But in Kansas, squirrels are rodents with long tails. I'm not taking it to a vet. Anyway, but I got a lot of emotion, a lot of emotions from that reel. So and put really high value in your captions. And you can even say, like, 3 secrets to finding antiques. Read the caption. And that's the last thing. Sorry, I've been going on and on. The last thing is that put keywords in your reel, the text on the video itself. Because I've had lots of people, and I see this a lot, someone puts together a really beautiful reel, beautiful video, great audio, whatever. There's no text on the screen. There's no really good keywords in the caption. And Instagram's just like, I don't know what this is about. And it flops. Mm-hmm. And then they're mad because they're like, I made this really pretty reel. Why didn't anyone like it? Because Instagram doesn't know what it's about. So we put on there, I mean, antiques, vintage lover, vintage hunt, vintage humor, whatever. You can even shrink it up, shove it to the side so you can't even see it, bury it below underneath the captions if you don't want text on the screen, but you need to put some keywords on your screen and the captions so that the algorithm knows who should be seeing your stuff.
Yeah, and it's important to put the text when you're making the reel in Instagram, not like making the reel from another app and then importing it, because then Instagram can't read your words. It's just like an image at that point. So like you want to make sure if you're adding any text or like important text that you want Instagram to recognize, it has to be done through Instagram Reels.
Yes. Okay, do you want to talk about stories?
Sure. Because I don't really share that many reels. I'm one of those that I'm like, I don't really feel like doing it. But I know it's beneficial for growth. And like Whitney is great if you want to like follow along with her reels, because most of them are funny too, which is perfect. So for stories, I would recommend, and I don't do this personally, but I really need to, just based on what I've listened to, read from other accounts who are like coaches, I guess you would say, you should share at least 3 stories daily. Just something so that like when people, like I don't know about you, but when I wash dishes, I watch stories because that's like a great time to just kind of like catch up and like, not that I always have to be entertained, but you know, like it's just an easy way. Or like when you're getting ready in the morning, putting makeup, doing your hair, that kind of stuff. So like I think like if your account pops up on people's stories, then they like you're reminding them that you're there, kind of a thing. Because especially with small shops, I mean there are probably like 400 I would say at least 400 vintage shops on Instagram now. So like it's really easy for you to get buried or forgotten about. So I think it's just like a nice daily reminder for people like, hey, I'm here. You can share new content on your stories. If you post something, it's good to like share it to your stories too, because if people don't see your post, if they don't go to your page every day, if they don't have like the notifications set up for your new posts or your new stories, it's good because then you're reminding them like, hey, I have a new post, you want to check it out. I would recommend doing, and a couple of my friends on here do it, like if you have a post that you're, it's funny, if you have a post that you just put up there, maybe ask a question in stories, like, hey, I just posted my Christmas collection, like comment on the post with your favorite Christmas memory, or like something like that. It like helps engagement, and it helps, I think like it helps your relationship grow too, because I don't just want you guys to look at my posts, like I want to have a relationship. I love the fact that I can talk to my customers back and forth, and that some of them have become my friends. And you don't really get that from selling on other platforms because their system does all of the back and forth for you. I think we were saying that your stories is a great way to sell items too. So if you don't want to do feed posts, if you don't want to do live sale, you can definitely do story sales. You can share like little day-to-day personal moments, like Candace this morning was like, I just went to go get an auction pickup and look at all the items that I have. Like that's exciting for people. Like people want to see that. And then you're also advertising for your upcoming sales too, like, hey, so like these are all the items that I just got today, and most of them will be available for you. So like that's good too, because then people are going to keep their eye out, like they're going to look out for when you post those items for sale if they see something that they like. What else? So we were thinking engagement stickers are good. So if you put up polls, if you do like the little swipe, if you do, what other ones? Questions, like ask me a question, or like tell me what you think I did today, or like things like that, those types of stickers on there help push your stories to the top, which is really good to be seen.
The next one is one of we need to think of a nicer word than pet peeves. Just please do it. It's just use captions when you're talking. Please use captions and put context. And I started doing this a little bit. Like half the time my phone is on silent, all the time. Like all the time it's on silent. And if someone's face pops up and I can see that the story's really long, sorry guys, I have a short attention span, short time frame here. I need to know immediately what you're talking about. So what I've started doing is when you have your video, if you're talking on stories, you can use your fingers, you can shrink down the video, you can make it smaller, you can move it around on the screen and put like a title or caption. Like I put shop talk over my videos in text, and then I put the captions down below. You are more likely to have people want to stop and watch your story if they know exactly what you're talking about. And even the same thing for a reel or for a post that you're sharing to your stories, give them some context, because I notice if I share a new post I did, and if I put it in my stories and I just say new post, like nothing, like it's like crickets. But if I say, come hear my funny story, or come tell me just like what you're saying, like put some context in that story, take advantage of all that space there so that people are more likely to engage. And how do you add captions? It's a sticker. So if you go to, Google it, but if you go to the bottom and tap the same place where you get GIFs or links or anything like that, you can click captions and you can swipe over and choose how your captions show up. And then
I would recommend going in and like editing them too before you post them.
Oh, I always forget that you can do that.
I mean, you don't have to, but then I do it because I don't want people to, I don't know. I'm like, well, the person doesn't know what the heck they're like, because sometimes when you put it up there and then you'll say a word, but like it'll translate it to be a different word. And sometimes it's not like a nice word. And other times it just doesn't make any sense. And I feel like if someone's only reading it, like for me at least, because I'm kind of like nitpicky, I want people to read it in like proper grammar.
Yes.
And like things like that. But you don't have to edit them. There is the option that you can go and like fix some of the words if they're not translating properly.
Yes, that's a really good tip that I probably need to do more. So, and then always add a title. Oh yeah, sharing other accounts, which I think you're great at this, at sharing other accounts to your stories.
I feel like I've been slacking a lot lately, but it is beneficial. Like, so like Kendra on Sunday, she's implemented like Small Business Sunday, I think it is, and she'll like shop on Sundays. So like, I think that's smart. Or like if you're doing like group sales with people, like right now we have the 12 days of Christmas that just started today. So like every day, everybody involved will be sharing like, okay, these people are up next for today. I think it's like great for like helping your friends or your peers like accounts grow, and it's also good too. Like if I find something, like if Whitney posts something and I'm like, wow, that's great inspiration, I'm gonna share it. Or like, check out this reel, it's hilarious. Like it made me laugh, you'll laugh too. It's just another way of like sharing different types of content to your story.
The next thing we were going to talk about was content ideas. I feel like we've kind of covered most of this already in today, So the other thing is just a few other features of Instagram that people had questions about. One was DMs. So that's the other nice thing about having a business or creator account is you have different folders within your DMs. You can do primary or general. So if I do a live sale, then I'll put all the DMs about claims in my primary inbox until the item is shipped. So that way if I need to contact anyone, they're right there and it's easy to find. Or if I have a collaboration I'm doing that's coming up, group sale, a vendor that reaches like a booth opportunity, whatever, then I put that all in there, and that just helps me keep that separate than just from the kind of the chit chat type messages. You can also flag them and tag them, which I think, do you tag yours? You were saying, I think.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So like if like I offer open boxes for the month, so if someone has an open box with me, I'll like, you could tag them. There's different like words that pop up, but I just put ordered. So then it'll say like an orange underneath the person's name, it'll say ordered. So then I know like, oh, okay, she or he has an open box with me. And same thing as what Whitney said, I put my like urgent, I guess, chats in primary and everybody else is in general. So like if I have an upcoming sale scheduled, I'll like flag it, which makes like a little orange triangle on the right side of the conversation. So when you're going through your inbox, if you see like the triangle, then I personally do that for like upcoming sales or upcoming events. And then I utilize the tags for people that have ordered something from me that I haven't shipped out yet. And that's really beneficial. I mean, I also have lists and things like that, but like it's good, especially if like you're new and I'm like, oh, I wrote your name down and I'm like, Becky. Oh, Becky, who are you? Then I could like see like in my DM, it's easier for me to find the person. Yes, when somebody pays you, you could flag paid. There's different options under there, but it definitely helps those people stand out from the rest of your conversations and your messages.
And I think that's only a business account feature with the tags paid, because if you're just a creator, then you wouldn't be organizing. And that is a great way to keep yourself organized. Yes, she is super organized. Hashtag goals. But if you're only selling on Instagram, then you really need to have a process for keeping everyone organized. So that can be really helpful too. Now you started your broadcast channel. I haven't done that yet, but that is another option. How has that been working for you?
I think it's beneficial. I'm trying to kind of figure out like how often to like post on there, because I don't want people to be like, oh, this girl won't shut up, and then like stop following it. But like you also want to keep people informed too, I think. So I'm like still trying to like get a hang of it. But it's good because like you can be posting things, or you could be sharing things to stories, but maybe there are people that want to know everything. And if they don't have like the little like bell turned on for notifications for like new stories or new posts, then that's like a way for them to get like a message directly in your inbox. It's like almost like an email list without having email. It would just be on Instagram. So because I don't have a shop outside of Instagram, I haven't utilized an email list, but like a lot of people recommend that, because then you're actually getting into these people's like phones, I guess. Like your message is going right where like you want it to go, like so people could read it. But the broadcast channel is good. It's for like anybody who wants to know your updates. They can like follow it or subscribe to it. I can't remember what the terminology is, but I think it's really beneficial if you have the option. I've had some people message me like, how did you get that? Like, I've been trying to get that for a while. So I don't know if every account has access to it, but it's definitely been much easier to reach out to an audience, and you could make different I think you could do a few of them. I just have like the one channel.
Yeah. And people are opting into this, so don't think that people will get tired of hearing from you. If you think, we're probably not selling and trying to sell enough. Not enough stuff, but we're not selling our stuff enough. If you think that you're marketing too much, you're probably almost there. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. I don't want to be like the naggy, like, hey, remember me?
Yeah, sneak peeks prior. Okay, we'll probably address that more when we talk about selling on Instagram. There's really no right or wrong as far as sneak peeks. If you have time to do it, awesome. So real quick, real quick, we're almost at an hour, but We had technical difficulties, so we got a little extra time here. Instagram, someone asked about an Instagram shop. So Instagram shop is the shopping branch within the Instagram app itself. In order to have an Instagram app, you have to own your own domain name and you have to have a business account on Instagram, and you have to have a website with a domain name that you own, and you must set up a Meta Business Manager profile and have a Facebook biz page. Google it. Someone asked if they could connect their Etsy shop. I think there is a workaround to getting your Etsy shop connected on Instagram shop. I never did that. My Instagram shop is connected through my website, and it was honestly like the biggest pain in the patootie ever. But people do buy a lot through my Facebook, through that Instagram app. So it does work out pretty well. And the fees are basically the same as what Shopify charges. And the benefit to that is creating shoppable posts. So you create this beautiful vignette, you tag your posts, your products in it, people tap, they can order it right away, and then they're done. They don't ever leave the Instagram app. So of course, Instagram loves that. But those are kind of the things you have to have set up. All right, I think we're actually going to have time to hit on some growth strategies, and these are things that we've been talking about this the entire time. So we'll just kind of look through this and see if there's anything we didn't cover.
Okay.
Growth. It's 3 things: consistency, engagement, and value. Someone also asked, what's the most profitable way of selling on Instagram? Is it live sales? Is it feed posts, stories? What is it? And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can close your eyes and point your finger, but you have to be consistent. Consistency is what is going to determine your success on any platform, including Instagram. And having a strategy for figuring out how you can encourage engagement with your customers and attract new customers, and how you can give them value, whether that is selling them amazing vintage stuff, giving them tips, making them laugh, adding value to their experience on Instagram is what will attract and retain followers and customers for your business. And the more content you put out, the more chances that you give new followers to find you. It's just like when you're having a sale. If you only list 10 items for sale, it doesn't matter how many millions of people are looking at your sale, you're only going to sell those 2 things max. Whereas if you list 30 items, 50 items, 100 items, you're increasing your revenue because you're increasing the opportunities that people buy from you. Think about those antique booths that you walk by. You walk by one antique booth and it's like really slim pickings. The shelves have like 1 item spaced out. It looks sparse. You feel like, oh, I can see everything, and you just walk out. But you walk by a really well-designed antique booth that has layers and layers and little cubbies and things to dig through, and you're immediately drawn in, and you're more likely to buy something simply because there are more opportunities for you to choose from. So the more content you create, the more chances you give new followers to find you. And when you're first starting out, we want to attract customers, not just other vintage shops. How do we do that, Nicole?
I feel like that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, of course you want other vintage shops to follow you and to help you grow.
We don't want them to not follow us. I mean,
right. Like, it's good. Like, there's room for everybody. And it's good to be like promoting each other and things like that. But most of the time, I mean, there are some shops that are customers as well, but most of the time we're just here to sell our stuff. We're not here to buy either, like to buy as well. So like you want to have your target audience customers, or like people that are willing to potentially buy from you. So I think like it's great to have friends on here that are other shops because of like the networking and like encouraging each other and like group sales and things like that. But you also need to have your content tailored to gaining some customers.
Yeah. I wish we could answer the selling questions, but because we have such a limited time to address Instagram. The next episode we do is probably going to be Instagram selling, just so you guys know, with questions on selling on Instagram. The reason I bring up the Instagram shop is that I see a lot of, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I see a lot of vintage shops when they first start, they go through and they follow all the other vintage shops that they can find. or they're creating content that is, or they're creating content that's really geared more towards sellers. For example, this is why I have navigated away from doing reels and a lot of posts that talk about shipping or selling, things that are very niche down to vintage sellers. Like, because right now, outside of Shop Talk, my focus, my ideal target audience is not other sellers. I want to find someone who has a profile that's sort of a vague or has a picture of their dog and they're private, and they might follow, you know, have 100 followers and they follow 1,000 other shop accounts, but they love to shop online. They love vintage. They follow home decor accounts. Home decor accounts is actually a great one to follow. And thank you so much for answering that. Thinking about other vintage lovers, home decor, home inspiration, thrifty living, eco-friendly home decor, secondhand home decor, these kinds of things. That is like going to be a great, like, think of the not Venmo, Venn diagram. Sorry, I was like, like, what are people who have some common interests that maybe like they're not in the antique dealing world, but they're adjacent to it? Those are the people, that's like your ideal target audience that you want to attract. And also looking at hashtags, what other accounts are, like you had some great pointers about doing some hashtag discovery, looking through that, commenting and interacting with other shop accounts too, like can be a great way. Like don't shy away from following vintage shops, but don't make that the only growth strategy that you have for following new customers. I think that when you just have that, that's kind of where you get in a little bit of a sticky place. How about collaborations? Because I feel like this is a really like a big strength for you, Nicole, is collaborating with other accounts.
I personally like it because I feel like you're, how would you say, you're increasing the views on your posts. Or like if I'm having well, first off, I've never done a live sale on myself because I'm still too nervous to do one. But hopefully one will come up soon. But like I feel like if it's just you, then you're only reaching out to the people that you have like following you, or the people that actually view your posts. Because like, all right, so I have like over 6,000 followers, but 6,000 people don't look at my posts, don't look at my stories daily. I'm lucky if I get 5% of my following that actually views my posts or stories. So I feel like with doing collaborations, now you have your following and the people or the person that you're like teaming up with, you have theirs too. So there will be overlap because there are definitely like we share mutual, I guess, people, mutual customers, but like it's giving another outlet for other people to view what you have to sell. I think definitely like progressive sales are great because then you'll say like, hey, I'm up, and then next up, go to Whitney. She'll be selling in 10 minutes kind of a thing. So like that might help accounts reach new customers or like get new sales from those live sales markets. I kind of try to get involved in as many group like efforts as possible because one, it's really fun. Two, like the engagement and like just like the relationship growth is really worth it for me. And then also, like I said, it's great because more people will be seeing the items that you have for sale. Giveaways, that's a really good way to gain followers. So like if you hit a milestone or like if you have your shop anniversary or something like that, if you do a giveaway, you're giving, like you're showing your appreciation for the people that have supported you. But then like if you're having them share it to their stories, then you're also, it's like a good strategy for gaining new followers. So that was a really good question.
And I think, I mean, what kind of protocol, or I don't even say protocol, like, well, I guess, what is the protocol? Because I know people ask me, well, how do I get into it? How do I get into the group sales? How do I how do I do that? Like, what is the best way, especially for a brand new account who maybe doesn't have a big following? Because how do they go about connecting with those collaboration groups?
I think it's definitely easier when, okay, I'm trying to think of how to say it. Don't just,
Don't cold call, first
right.
off. Like someone that you've
Like if I
never.
don't know you, if we've never had a conversation
Mhm.
via DM, if you've never bought from me, like if you're just some random person that I don't even follow and you're like, hey, let's do a group sale together. Like, don't
You're
don't
probably going to say
expect me
no.
to say yes because I don't know you. I can't vouch for you. So now I'm sharing my customer base with this new person that I have no relationship with whatsoever. And it's basically like me telling my customers, yeah, you could totally trust this person.
Yeah.
So like I feel like you need to like, I'm not saying you have to be my best friend, but like I feel like we have to have some sort of a relationship. I need to know how like your shop works. I need to know if you follow up with your purchases, if you ship, like if you're not just like ghosting customers. Like I feel like it's hard to say no to people sometimes, but like you have to, like I feel like people need to understand that I'm not doing it to be mean. I just like this is like some people's livelihoods and like you don't want your reputation to kind of be tarnished because you chose to sell with like a group of people or a person and their like policies don't necessarily align with yours.
And
So like networking is really important, I think.
And I'm a very blunt person, so and again, I am not thinking of anyone who's watching this. Do not take this personally because I have no one in mind. Because I'm so bad with names, I have no one in mind particularly in specific that I'm even referring to. Just so you know. But if I look at an account and I think you are only trying to ride on the coattails of someone else's success and that's your only hustle game that you have going on, your only growth strategy is to try to piggyback off someone else's work, that's a hard no for me. That would be someone who I look at their account and I can just tell they're not trying that hard, okay? But I have other accounts that I've seen, they might be brand new. I did one with, oh gosh, Marcella, what's her name? A newer account, and I looked at her account and I could tell like she had great photography. She was hustling, she was selling stuff outside, like she was doing all these other growth strategies that I was talking about. She was running a business and doing it really well. And I thought, yeah, like I want to partner with that. And unfortunately, both of us, we've talked about redirecting our energies and that kind of thing. And so even if someone says no, like that doesn't mean, like, don't take it personally. It just, sometimes it's just a capacity thing. Like I would love to have all the time and energy to do all the lives with all the people, and I just don't. And so sometimes my no has everything to do with me and nothing to do with you. You know, so it doesn't hurt to try and when you come into the bargain, telling them this is what I can offer your customers, being very specific, this is what I would love to bring to the table. This is the value. Again, coming back, this is the value that I can bring, is really, really, really helpful. And so those are just some things to think about with collaborations. And again, when you are doing, because I've heard people say, I literally heard someone say to me, because the group sale thing like just has never been a huge success for me. I don't know why. Like my customers just don't get into it. I make less money when I do group sale than when I do solo drops, and it's fine. It's just because my customers are like, yeah, we just want to buy from you. And I have had someone say like, well, how do you grow your account if you're not doing all these collaborations? And I'm like, you do all these other things that we're talking about with growing your Instagram account. You leverage the power of Instagram to grow your account. And then you add this into the mix. It cannot be your only growth strategy because then you're not operating from a position of strength and skill and really leveraging all that Instagram can do for you.
And not to like, I don't know how to put this lightly, but like on Instagram, like everybody's judging a book by its cover. So like, cause we don't know you. Like so like if your feed is kind of like a reflection of you, because that's like all we know, right? So like what if they're, like I was saying, like if we do start a relationship, and maybe you're not the greatest at taking pictures, but you have quality items, you know about your items, you're really great with like communicating, then it's hard. It's like I can't see that until I like know who you are and start like learning about you, kind of a thing. Otherwise, I just see these stagnant photos or like reels of, you know, like without, there's no personality until like you kind of start portraying that, which also like helps, I think, people to like, oh, great, like she seems fun. Let's do a sale with her.
Yeah. The numbers, to me, it's less about the numbers
Yeah, I don't
than
really
the
care about
quality of the content. Like it really comes down. And we're not trying to gatekeep or anything, but because I know women in business, sometimes we are led by our emotions and we really want other people to like us. Yes, new, did someone help you? Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, so it's a combination of being able to like do the work and also asking for help, and there will always be people willing to help you. And even if I can't do a live sale, hey, like, man, I'm booked up for the next 6 months, but hey, you let me know. This is often what I say. You let me know if you need help planning for your first live sale, or here's a YouTube video. Someone messaged me the other day like, hey, no vintage sellers have been willing to help me start selling online. And I'm like, hey, this is great. Go watch these YouTube videos, listen to these podcasts. Here's some great material that can help you and get you on your way. So, and that's the exciting thing about Shop Talk is like you saying, when we were new, did someone help you? This is exactly why we're doing Shop Talk, because even if we don't have the capacity to do like collaborative sales with everybody, we're hopefully giving you the tools you need to really be successful. So
that's a really good question because nobody helped me when I started. There weren't really that many. And like I remember asking this one woman, I wouldn't dare say who it was, but I remember asking her for some information. She's like, well, I did this all on my own, so like you can do it on your own too. I was like, okay. So like I wanted to get involved with Whitney and doing this because I would like to help other people. Like it is it's terrifying, like getting started, I think. I was so scared, and shipping was like my main like hurdle that I needed to get over, but like I had no idea how to even do any of it. So like you have to also think like, yes, I did do this pretty much on my own in the beginning. I like got my own feet wet. I didn't have anybody holding my hand, but like just because that happened to me doesn't mean that I'm gonna expect you to do that too. Like we're trying to be here to help you out as best as we can.
And I love what Lisa is saying about boundaries, because that is also, I think, an easy trap to fall into when you are a new seller, is feeling the pressure to do all the things all the time. And if someone gives me, like, I can't say no because I'm just starting. But you have to think, start off the way that you want to continue. Like there's a saying that kind of says like,
don't bite off more than you can chew.
yeah,
I think
like start off the way that you mean to go on.
Okay.
So because you are going to develop habits. Like if you are like, I've got to do 2 live sales a week to like really get going, but you know, I'll back off no, you won't back off. You develop these habits. Customers learn to expect that they can, you know, get an immediate response from you 24/7, that you're always on live, and you're going to get burnt out. So I think boundaries is like that's a whole discussion on itself. Okay. Wow. We kind of talked about strategies to avoid. I guess we actually didn't really talk about some of these. Okay, guys, again, don't take these personally, but these are some strategies that I have seen other sellers use, and I think they're trying to use it to grow, but it's not doing what you think it does. So we are trying to say this to help you, not to call anyone out, because again, I don't remember names. My dementia, early onset dementia, is a gift to you. You're welcome. So posting a photo, maybe it's like a pretty bookshelf decor, and tagging 20 accounts. And the only reason that you want to tag those accounts is to get their attention. Don't do this. Don't do
it. Strike one.
Like, it's you go. You're nicer than me.
No, not really.
No. It comes across as attention seeking, and it comes across as like, you know, there are times when you're like you're legitimately talking about specific friends and specific accounts that have helped you, like tag a friend. I love these accounts. They're great. I got this picture from Nicole. I'm gonna tag her, and like all of that is fine. But occasionally I get tagged and I go onto this photo. I'm like, A, who is this account? B, why am I tagged in this? And I tap in the tags, it's like the whole screen explodes with tags. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's not serving your customers. And kind of the same thing with, oh, can you untag yourself?
Yes, you definitely can.
I need to
because when those pictures show up in, like, if you go on your profile, you can go all the way to the right. There's like that little tag symbol with the person in there. Then like everything that you've been tagged in shows up on your profile, and now that person's, I think it's like that person's photo is now permanently on my profile. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
That means all those Sheen
certificates. Yeah, you have to untag yourself from all of them.
Man. That's sick.
But I have, like what you said, I have no problem with like customers sharing, like, look at all of my recent finds that I grabbed from small shops.
Yes.
Like, love that. I love when people share things like that.
Yes.
It's more just like something that has nothing to do with me, and you're like, you're tagging me in your post. Like, why? For attention? No, I don't really like that.
It just doesn't come across. It just doesn't come across well. The same thing if you are posting things for sale or posting about your live sales and you're DMing, you're sharing those posts to other shop owners, and it's not clear. Usually there's no, and I don't mind tag you in a live coming up. To be honest, yes, it does.
Yes, if I have nothing to do with the live, I don't really want to be a part of it.
Like,
and it almost makes me not want to watch the live just because you tagged me.
Why do we feel that way? I think it's because there's no benefit. Also, when you get a larger account, I just get so many notifications that come through. Like, that's just one more notification that I didn't need. Like, I'm not there's just, I don't know why I'm being tagged in it. So I really do not care. I don't care for that. It's not helpful for me or for the other account. So just
feel like
we're saying the hard things.
You just look like desperate. If you're like, I need people to see this, let me tag a bunch of people. Like, that doesn't make me want to like follow along with anything coming up.
And then the pity party post. Which I get it, guys. Instagram is hard. Instagram is a lot of work. There are things we don't understand. I totally get that. But if you have a post or reel that doesn't perform as well and you post a pity party about it, Instagram sucks. I hate this. The Instagram algorithm is suppressing my, I put all this time and boo-hoo, woe is me. Like, I'm really, really exaggerating what I see, guys. So please, again, don't take this personally, but just think about how that comes across. Like, is that serving your customers or is that serving you? Like, are you doing that to get people to send you sympathy messages, or is this truly serving your customers? It has to serve your customers. Their Instagram account, sorry guys, you're there to make money. It's a business, okay? You're there to make money. And if it is not serving your customers, driving sales, nurturing relationships, and growing your business, there's no room for it. And I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry guys, you're getting me like 100% blunt. No, I loved that. No. Okay, someone just said I tagged you guys on my post mentioning Shop Talk. That is beautiful. Thank you. I shared your post. No, that is fantastic. We're talking about the zero context, no idea why I was tagged in this pretty picture of a vase of flowers. My name's not mentioned. No context. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the picture. Like, did they buy any of that stuff from me? No.
Sorry, I'm trying to make it super clear. Okay. Enough with the negative. We're gonna shut the door on that because we don't want to like nurture negativity. I think we've said our piece. And again, we're doing this to empower you guys so that you can choose things that really help your account grow. So what,
And like
okay.
ways that you could portray yourself
Yes.
too. Like Whitney was saying, like if you do, oh, my story didn't, or my post didn't do well, or like I had 20 items up for sale and nobody bought anything, boo-hoo. Like
Guys,
that doesn't, how, like, as you have to think of yourself on the other end, like reading that post. Like how do you react to that? You,
I had an
it's
Instagram,
just not
I've
beneficial.
had an Instagram live sale in the, I'll just say in the past 3 months in which I sold 0 things. Zero. I sold zero. And honestly, it's kind of funny to me. I'm like, that actually takes some skill to have a, I
Yeah.
mean, and it's just like you just have to develop resilience and fit. And instead of getting wrapped up in like feeling mad at yourself or bad about or beating yourself up, think about like, okay, what can I do differently
Mhm.
to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Right.
Like let's flip this
Exactly.
into a learning opportunity. That's all that failure is. It's like it's an opportunity for growth. Okay, um, we're so much over, it really doesn't matter. Do you guys have any questions that we can help with, that we can answer before we sign off? The replay will be on our Instagram profiles and on YouTube. The next, go type your questions in if you have any. I'm looking at my calendar to see. I know we scheduled our next shop talk. We haven't talked about the topic yet, but we probably, I know we have, it'll be, okay, it's on December 6th. December 6th, on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock again. But yeah, you guys can always message your questions later, and we'd love to chat about those. We'll have show notes because there are several apps that we use for editing and creating graphics, and we just didn't have time to get to those yet, and it'll be easier anyways to give those in a list. And Instagram strategy and growth accounts to follow that I think are really, really, really helpful for you to be intentional about growing your business on Instagram. So we'll put those, I'll probably try to share some in my stories too. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for sitting through this. This was a long one. There was a lot to cover. Do you have anything else, Nicole?
I would just say be more like Whitney than me in the sense of like creating content. Like I'm very like I will stew on something for like months and be like, oh, like a reel. I had a reel idea that I started filming like 2 months ago and I just haven't done it. Like, and here Whitney is like posting all these reels, like really funny ones. I don't have to like just to like get content out there. Definitely just do it. Like, and I need to be more like that, where I'm just like, I have these ideas, I need to just execute them, but I'm more like a planner. Like, I'll make lists about things, but I don't necessarily cross things off all the time. So, like, think it, do it. Don't be afraid to get,
Yes.
like, put yourself out there,
And
kind of a thing.
the more you do it, the more you make a reel, the more you take pictures, the more you the more you get your face on stories, the easier it gets. It's just, you just got to keep doing it for sure. Just keep doing it. Nicole, your homework this week is to make that reel. I'm assigning you homework.
I will. I
And I
will.
give you permission to tag me in it because I told you to do it.
That's so funny. Oh, oh no, I'm sorry.
Someone said for the replay, someone said if I left an ingredient out of my, if I left an ingredient out of my cookies, it's your fault. All right. All right, guys, that's a wrap, and we will see you guys next month. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.